Hello viewers, my name is Mrs. Regina Ujo Ayambeke. By the grace of God, I'm a marriage instructor, a counselor, and also author of 4 very inspiring books. Today we are going to look at part 3 of episode 3, Mysteries in Marriage. We're going to look at the part 3. In our previous episode, we had discussed the 2 principal factors, husband and wife, what they represent in the realm of the spirit. We had also gone further. We had gone further to discuss the 2 states of love, which we said was the operational state and the expressional state, where man and woman exist. Today, I want to see how we can produce a blissful marriage. What's the requirement for a blissful marriage? You obviously agree with me that bringing a man from the operational state of love and a woman from the expressional state of love to marry cannot produce a blissful marriage, because both of them speak different language. While the man speaks the language of war, the woman speaks the language of pleasure, romance, love. So with these 2 languages, there cannot be a blissful marriage. And a lot of people have made a mistake of moving from operational state of love and expressional state of love to marry. And that's why in most homes you see separation, you see divorce, marital violence, that sometimes leads to death. So today I want to see how a man and a woman can marry and produce a blissful home. The first requirement for a blissful home is that the man must compulsorily be ready to leave that operational state of love, come down to the level of the weaker vessel, the wife. And to leave that operational state of love is called laying down. A man must be ready to lay down his life. A man must be ready to sacrifice. A man must be ready to adjust. To leave that state or that operational state of love is to adjust, is to sacrifice, is to be ready to lay down one's life. And Jesus, the first groom that we know, Bible tells us in John chapter 10 verse 17, Bible says, the Father loves me because I lay down my life. So this was what Jesus himself did. He left the throne in heaven, came down to earth, and emptied his life for the church, his bride. So for any man to have a blissful marriage, the first requirement is that the man must be ready to leave that comfort zone, to leave that operational state of love, come down to the level of the woman. Now, when you come down, you'll be able to prepare the woman in a language she will understand. You'll be able to teach her. You'll be able to help her to figure out what you want, what your plans for the family is, where you are taking family to. It is at this level of coming down, condescending, that you'll be able to communicate to her, and she'll be able to understand exactly where you are taking family to, so she can be a suitable helpmate for you. Take a look at this. When God created woman and brought woman to man, man was not functioning in the garden as a king. He was not functioning as a warrior. Bible tells us that man was in a state of rest. Man had left kingship and left warfare. He was resting. It was in that state of rest that God brought woman to man. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That means that for man to be able to communicate with his wife, for her to be a suitable helpmate, he must come down, he must condescend, he must leave that zone of kingship. He must leave that zone, stoop to the level of the weaker vessel, the wife. Now, Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25 kills it. It tells us there that a husband must love his wife and be ready to love her the way Christ loved the church. Christ loved the church and even washed the church. Washed the church and made her blameless. Let us look at it. Let us read it and see. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this reason, A man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. That seals it. A man must leave father and mother. A man must leave his comfort zone. A man must leave that zone of kingship. A man must remove his regalia of kingship and warfare. He must drop it and then come to the level, condescend to the level where the woman can understand him. If we must get it right, if we must have a blissful marriage, the man must be ready to make some sacrifices, to adjust to this new level of marriage so that it can produce a blissful marriage. On the side of the wife, the woman on the other hand must be ready to listen and learn, because she's going to be a helpmate. You're going to be helping your husband. Remember, like I said in the previous part, that wife stands for, in the realm of the spirit, it represents wonderful informant for elevation. Whose elevation? The husband's elevation. That means that for you to be able to help your husband, to be a suitable helpmate for your husband, you must be ready to learn. You must be open. You must be teachable. You must be teachable. If you're not teachable, you can never be a suitable helpmate for your husband. You cannot. Don't forget, it was difficult in the garden. Eve could not be a suitable helpmate for Adam. And today we are looking at a situation where, as a wife, we will be able to render that necessary assistance that God created a wife for. We'll be able to render it. And that is why this episode, I am trying to encourage us, all the wives, please be ready to learn. No matter how senseless what your husband is teaching you, just try and listen. Just try and give him your ear. Just try and learn and be ready to do it his way, not your way. In my marriage, I have learned a lot. Most of the things I know, my husband taught me. A lot of things that I do and I know today, my husband taught me. And I made up my mind that I must learn. I made up my mind. I decided that I must learn. So whenever he teaches me, I try. I pray about it. Every day I pray. I say, God, help me to be the wife that will be suitable for my husband. Help me to be a suitable helpmate. Help me. And God has been helping me. So you can also pray to God to help you. If you find it too difficult to be a suitable helpmate, pray to God to give you the grace to be able to listen. Not only listen, but also do what he tells you to do. And husbands, don't forget, always remember to teach your wife right. Don't teach her wrong things. Teach her the right thing. For instance, your wife is making trouble with someone. Stop her. Because by the time she finishes with that person, she's going to make trouble with you. So whatever you don't want your wife to do to you, don't let her do it to another person. Teach your wife right. Teach your wife right. If you don't want her to treat your family badly, don't allow her to treat her family badly too. Remember, when you wear the regalia of a king, when you wear the warfare regalia, you will not be able to teach her in a language she will understand. The woman is the weaker vessel. And we always hear that the way a woman reasons is different from the way a man reasons. So please, husbands, be patient with your wives. It needs patience. You need to prepare her so she can become a suitable helpmate for you. Be patient with your wives so that she will become that very thing you desire for. Just be patient with her. And at the end of the day, you will be able to hit your chest and say, this wife of mine that people are praising today is your product. And that is it. So if you have learned anything in this episode, I would like you to like. After you like, click on the subscription button. If you have not subscribed before, please subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure your notification button is on so that the next time we upload any new video, you will be the first to get yourself nourished by it. Thank you very much. Do not forget to drop a comment in the comment section. Do not forget. I Thank you for your time and attention. I wish you a lovely day. Bye.